Hello everybody, my name is Zach, aka the Weather Gamer. So just straight off, leading off, you can see that there's already some mons up here from a battle. I'm not on my team page. This is supposed to be the team builder for APA Week 4. And it is, but it's also Week 4's match. Because I forgot to turn on my mic for that recording, so I don't have it live. So just shoving the two together. And it's also the last match for me for APA Infinity. I am dropping out of Infinity, not because of my record. It didn't help my record. But there were a number of other things that contributed to this. I can't talk about some of those right now. In the future I will. But as of right now that I can't talk about some of the issues that I've got going on. I am repping the APA hoodie, still loyal to APA. I'm coming back for Indigo, I promise. As long as they will let me back into Indigo, I will be back for Indigo. I love being in Indigo, and it's a good place for me to hone my skills and get better. So, I'll talk about why I dropped out of APA, kind of, some of that tomorrow. Tomorrow will be APA Season 1's season recap, so you can check that out. But anyways, here you can see the team that Love has. He's got Arceus, Fairy, Palkia, Ferrothorn, Lunala. I'm just going to go ahead and turn all the Mons back on because I'll need him here. Muck, Donphan, Gallade, Torntea, Galvantula, Volcanion, and then Chinchou for some reason. I had Ferrothorn and Galvantula and Lunala coming, and instead he brought Muck, Donphan, and Torn. But I did get this corner right. So, I can't even show you my team. They've already cleared my team, so my team doesn't exist anymore until I get someone back in. So I'm going to go ahead and jump over here and close that. So originally I brought Mega Ments with Dragon Dance, Double Edge, Roost, Earthquake. The speed stat was to outspeed the Mega Gallade, which I figured is probably carrying Ice Punch, Roost, Double Edge, and Dragon Dance. If I can D-Dance up, if I know Muck doesn't have Ice coverage, I can get Ments in and D-Dance on it. Like, as long as it doesn't have Ice Punch, I can pretty freely do that. Otherwise, I couldn't, based on his team comp, I could D-Dance on Ferrothorn, and that was basically it. Everything else could be carrying ice coverage, so I had to double check to make sure that I could dance up on something. At +1 with max attack, my double edge O-code or 2-code, it O-code everything except Ferrothorn and Lunala as long as its Shadow Shield was intact. So those were the only two things that could live a +1 double edge. Earthquake was there to hit Muck. His team is also super ground weak for the most part, so having Earthquake was good. And then the rest I threw into HP. His team being weak to Sand in particular, Excadrill could put in a lot of work. I need to remove Palkia in order to remove Palkia to do that. And Drill was another big issue that I had to remove in order, or not Drill. Ferrothorn would be another big issue I would have to remove in order to have Drill Sweep. I was Focus Sash, Sandstream. The reason I'm Focus Sash is because I wanted to draw in the Mega Gallade. That's how this T-Tar is supposed to work. It draws in Mega Gallade, foul plays it. It's a 2-shot, so he can't actually, if he brings Mega Gallade in, I foul play on the switch. Mega Gallade takes upwards of 96%. He megas and close combats me. I'm on Sash. I foul play and kill him again. Fire Blast was if Ferrothorn was trying to come in. Earthquake just, again, hits his team really, really hard. Then Stealth Rocks, if I could get rocks up, they'd be helpful versus the Torn or breaking Lunala's Shadow Shield, which was really important because once Lunala's Shadow Shield breaks, then things get a lot easier for me, which you'll see as I was building and all that. I didn't need any speed, like, on this thing. I could be min speed, so it just went into bulk. I didn't need a lot of attack investment either for what I needed to do, so this is Spadef T-Tar. And then that was supposed to set up for drill, and as long as Palkia is out of the way, and I have sand, the Glade's not an issue, but as long as Palkia is out of the way, I can Swords Dance. Actually, I think it was Lunala was the problem, not Palkia, because a +2 Earthquake killed Palkia, if I remember correctly. Yeah, it does. So I just needed to get an SD off with Excadrill before Palkia got in with me while I was under sand. And at +2 with a Swords Dance, I just destroy everything. Earthquake will break down Palkia. The only thing that could live a +2 hit from Excadrill off of his team was Ferrothorn. That was the only thing that could take a hit. Otherwise, the rest of his team lost a +2 drill. Ironhead at +2 kills Arceus. +2 Shadow Claw would rip Glade, and then I could Ghostium Z at +2. Ghostium Z would get through Shadow Shield and beat Lunala, is how this is built. The speed stat was just enough to get above Scarf Torn in sand. So Arceus Grass, this was my only defogger. Power Ice Beam, Shadow Ball. Just trying to break Shadow Shield and hit his main switches list. Muck being potential, Torn Eye being potential, obviously. So max defense, max HP. This was supposed to hard wall Megalade and then Shadow Ball it. Scarf Tapu Lele was supposed to come in and revenge HP Fire for Ferrothorn, Psychic, Shadow Ball, and Moonblast. Focus Blast would have been nice because Alolan Muck came, but here's what it is. Speed stat wise under the Scarf, that was the best I could do, so I put the rest in bulk. Finally, we brought a really Spadef invested Regice. It would allow me to hit any Specs hit from Volcanion and then trigger my weakness policy, and then I would kill everything in sight. Basically, this thing is so Spadef invested and HP invested. I could live a hit from Palkia as well, but I was supposed to take a super effective hit with Regice, trigger the weakness policy, and then I can put in a hell of a lot of damage across the board. Again, Hidden Power Fire, dual Hidden Power Fires, kind of not the greatest here, but that was the team I brought. So into the actual match itself. So like I said, Muck, Donphan, and Torn, the middle three I didn't have originally. Muck turns out to be the biggest problem here. Torn, I have Regice, I have Ice Beam here. +2 Iron Head from Drill will take care of it. T-Tar should scare it. Arceus and even like Choice Scarf Psychic off of Tapu Lele takes care of it. Donphan, not a real big issue. Arceus Grass hard walls it pretty much. Regice. So my prediction was a Donphan lead, so I went ahead and led Regice. That way I could scare that out, keep rocks off my side of the field, and get a Toxic off on something. So, turns out he's going to go ahead and lead Arceus Fairy, which would have been beautiful for me to drop a Toxic and hit, to put that thing on a timer. Turns out I missed my Toxic, wouldn't have mattered because it was Muck. I Ice Beamed over Hidden Power Grounding because, or not, I Ice Beamed because that was the best I had to hit it. I wanted to see what type of Muck this was, and initially I wasn't sure if it was AV'd or not because Ice Beam did a little more than what AV should take, but in subsequent turns I ended up finding out that it was AV Muck. At least I still think it was AV Muck. So I go ahead and go into Arceus Grass here. This is what tells me he is not AV, though. Like, I kept playing it like he's AV Muck, he's AV Muck, he's AV Muck. Even after seeing this, I kept thinking he's AV Muck, he's AV Muck, which is something that I have to get better at doing. Because, like, earlier this week I kept saying something else was AV'd, and I had already seen that it wasn't. And my brain just clicked off. Because I see his Figgy Berry trigger here. So I know he's Gluttony, Figgy Berry. He's just super Spadef. He's probably, like, max HP, max Spadef. I do switch into Drill here to try and scare this thing out, knowing that he was probably going to Gunk Shot again on Arceus. And I really wish I had Swords Danced here, because I could have put some damage on this Donphan, but it's actually defensive Donphan. Like, super defensive Donphan. That took nothing from Drill, but it broke his Sturdy at least, which means later if I was at +2 with Sand, I could OHKO this thing, or something else can get an OHKO without him revenging me. I can't stay in here. I don't want to take an Earthquake, so I make the play into Arceus on his Stealth Rocks. I'm going to go ahead and defog the rocks away. He goes into his Torn. I could have Ice Beamed over defogging, and then defog the next turn on Muck potentially coming in, but I chose to get the rocks off because I wanted to keep T-Tar's Sash intact. That was kind of the thing that went through my head, and in reality, had I just Ice Beamed, this would have been gone out of here, and at least would have, if you haven't figured it out yet, I lose this match, but it would have saved me some differential, because I would have OHKO'd with Ice Beam, unless he was Yachi, so that would have gone down. He would have gone Muck, which would have allowed me to defog, and then keep rocks off the field, and then I would have lost Arceus to Muck, but then I go Drill, and threaten that, brings in Donphan, it starts a chain of events, and so that defog was just a poor play. He U-turns, brings in Muck, I go ahead and Ice Beam, I pop him into Figgy, and at this point I realize, okay, I can't do anything but continue to prop him down into Figgy Berry range, and then he will recycle the berry, because he's obviously recycled. He'll just recycle the berry, and then I'll just run out of Earth powers, and in the meantime he'll kill me. And then he'll have his berry still intact, which I didn't want him to have. So I go ahead and I double defog here, because he recycled, so I defog, because I want him to kill Arceus at this point. I want Arceus down. I'm not going to give him his berry and let him recycle and gain health. Bring in Drill. This brings in Donphan. I Earthquake, which again does nothing. I should have doubled into Regice instead of Earthquaking. Had I doubled into Regice, he doesn't put rocks up on me. He has to fear the Ice Beam. And it draws back in Muck, which then I double into Excadrill, and we'd start a loop. Until on one of the loops I go T-Tar to set Sand, and then it doesn't matter at that point. Because now he gets his rocks up. And my T-Tar Sash is broken, which means it can't check Gallade. So I make a double, knowing that Muck's coming back in, and I go Salamence this time, because I know Salamence has EQ. It will kill Muck. I get a free Dragon Dance. The problem is that Arceus comes in on me the next turn, and I wasted my Dragon Dance, and but I had to go for a D-Dance. But it turns out his Donphan is max defense, basically. He made a max defense Donphan. The Ice Shards, it doesn't kill me, so in theory I could have danced again on him. Or I could have roosted. The way this should have gone... See, I thought he was Banded, and Banded had a 1%, or did 56 to 62%, but as defensive as he was from Excadrill Earthquake, I never should have thought he was Banded. Again, the thoughts that go through my head that aren't necessarily good right there. But had I just thought he's defensive, he's not going to be able to kill me, I roost, I dance, I roost, I dance, I roost, I dance in sequence, hoping he doesn't crit me. And then I get to full off of a roost, or I guess I get taken down to 60%. And then at +4, EQ would kill this, Double Edge would kill everything else. Like, I would have this game if I had just played Salamence a little better. And that's part of what I'll talk about tomorrow with leaving APA. So, I just... What the hell? Whoa, 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 whoa. What the hell? You guys see that, right? It shows Megamence's base stat is 94. But it should be 389, and it shows my special attack stat at... Okay, I need to take a picture of this real quick. I'm sorry, because... I need to take a picture of this and let them know that something's wrong with Frontier. Because that's not right. I'm going to send that real quick, because I think Frontier just crashed or something, or is not working. So, give me one moment here. I need to send this to... I'm gonna send that real quick to John, aka Scotty, who's running Infinity, because that's not right. At all. That's not right at all. And I'm wondering if that might have screwed things up then, if that's the case. What the actual hell? Interesting. Well, back to this while those are sent, and I'll tell you guys what happens tomorrow with that. I didn't kill Donphan because it's max defense, or the calcs are wrong now, seeing that. I go T-Tar. At this point, I just have to get Sand up. Like, Palkia is an issue. He brings in Gallade. I should switch to Regice here. I don't, because I need T-Tar to set Sand again, and I didn't. I should have, because Regice was doing nothing the rest of this game. I could have saved T-Tar, reset Sand, given Drill another chance at sweeping, potentially. Like, if I set Sand in front of Muck, or in front of Torn, I'd have to set it in front of Muck. I'd have to set Sand in front of Muck, bring in Drill, Swords Dance on the Muck switch, and then at that point I'd win. Instead, I clicked the button too fast, really, really stupidly clicked the button too fast, because he's -1 attack, -1 defense. Clicked the dumb button and went and Z'd when standard Shadow Claw would have killed him. So unfortunately, I screwed up that. Because I could have Z'd this thing and gotten rid of this. I mean, Palkia was coming in anyways, every time, and I wouldn't have Regice. I could go Lele, take the hit. I don't know. I'll just let this play out. But anyways, I EQ, and I lose my last physical attacker that can hit Muck. Because the rest of my team is special, and he's so Spadef invested that I just can't beat this. I get a crit, which I wish I would have gotten later in the game, or freeze, or something, because it just sits here, and it, after 3 turns of realizing that he's got Brick Break and can beat Regice now, there was no point in just sitting here for like 4 more turns, 5 more turns, whatever it was, just getting pounded down by Muck. So I forfeited. Muck gets the 2 kills. It's unfortunate, but I couldn't do anything at that point, so it was just easier to say GG and get out of here. So, but yeah, I will let you guys know what's going on with Calcs, because that might DQ this match. So, but yeah, we'll see what happens. So yeah, thank you guys for watching. Please check out the links in the description down below, and I'll see you guys next time.